And here's some of the principal rock types. The basement rocks here are Ordovician sandstone. And the granodiorite is in the early stage. We don't have too much of this, but the medium grain to aphanitic dacite, porphyritic dacite, that's the bulk of your rock type. This is a typical phreatomagmatic breccia. Phreatic intrusion breccia that I mentioned is probably formed deeper. And then we get these what are called intrusive breccias. They're basically driven by the magmatic system, but they don't really have much hydrothermal mineralization with. If they're mineralized, we call them hydrothermal breccias. So really the overall rock types are fairly straightforward, a typical calc-alkaline volcanic complex. Now we published quite a lot of results. We've had some extraordinarily long intercepts, 300-400 meters, and the remarkable consistency in these intercepts. So it's not like you have a high and a low and nothing. It's just assay after assay after assay with peaks here. And those are our big four elements. There's obviously other things. There's some gold, some copper, but I'm sticking to the four main ones. That's what we have metallurgical data on, and that's what's going to drive the overall economic value. You can see we have silver. Our best silver was almost 70. Our best tin was down here, 0.2 over 373. Zinc is an important component. You can see here we got 2% over 300. And lead is, most of the value here is in silver and zinc, and to a lesser extent lead. Our PEA study actually will not really consider tin at this time, and I'll show you why, but that's a huge exploration upside, as I'll show you. Just to give you a little better idea of distribution here, I've done this in terms of the value of the major components. So you can see here, the purple here, which is zinc, is quite important. People tend to ignore zinc, but zinc has a lot of value. And we have holes here, obviously, that are quite high in silver. We have holes that are high in tin. So there's certainly variability here. Now, looking at the overall geology, if you stand back in a broad sense, it's fairly simple. The green here is dacite. The red dashed here is the rough mineralized. This is the Santa Barbara breccia pipe here. And everything is really mineralized through here. It's really quite extraordinary. There is some oxidation near surface here. There's a little bit of quaternary. But you can see, again, the scale here, that's about 2.6 kilometers, really long. That's a north-south longitudinal section. If we look at the distribution of metals here, so we just looked at the database of silver greater than 8 grams. By the way, and Charlie pointed this out in his report, the overall average grade of our silver, all the samples, is 9 grams, which is extraordinarily high. But you can see that dacite really dominates here. Either the TDC, which is the porphyritic dacite, or the TDC1, which is the aphanitic version. We do get some intrusive breccia coming in here, particularly in the tin, which is earlier stage, and the silver. And as I'll show you, tin, silver go together, zinc, lead, and silver go together. But zinc and tin, yet. They are completely separate. Now, the other thing that we've defined here, there's clearly two major domains in this deposit. The red is the tin domain, which is tin, silver, lead. And then the other green here is zinc, the polymetallic domain, which is silver, zinc, and lead. There's some overlap, as I'll show you, with lead and silver, but there's virtually none with tin and zinc. And this overall deposit here is essentially It goes for more than 1,400 meters. That's our drilled strike length. It's about 800 meters wide, and we've drilled it down to at least a kilometer. It's a massive system, and it remains fully open in all directions.